I work with some of the greatest people in entertainment, and they graduated with a 2.5. They graduated.
Please welcome our next guest, Olivia Sturgell.
The biggest red flag on a first date in college is...
You watch a lot of crime-related stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Break into entertainment industry, but has no connections.
I would tell them, wanted to be Jimmy Fallon for the longest time. I was like, he's my idol. He's everything to me.
Entertainment is changing.
The grind is so much harder once you...
Your show starts as early as possible.
Thank you. You have to come on.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of How to Be a College Superstar. I think you have seen my guest in behind the scenes in award-winning productions, leading media strategies at Pace University, and also showing her digital marketing strategies. Please welcome our next guest, Olivia Sturgell.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's start with something fun. What is the red flag on a college first date?
A red flag on a college first date?
Yeah.
Oh no, you're bringing me back. I think the biggest red flag on a first date in college is when they won't pay. And I know when you're in school, money is a thing and everyone's a broke college kid, but then don't ask girls out on a nice date if you're not going to pay.
Yeah.
That's my biggest college red flag for a date.
Who should pay on the first date?
Whoever asks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break traditional norms. Whoever asks should pay.
That's true. That's true. Okay, let's get in. There are 3 sections. This is the Superstar Playbook.
Okay.
We'll start with confessions.
Okay.
Then go to the hustle. Then the big dream. Okay.
Okay.
I'll shoot my first question.
Confessions. I'm scared.
You could always use the safe word.
Okay.
What's the weirdest club or the event you accidentally found yourself in college?
Uh-oh. The weirdest club or event that I found myself. So the weirdest college event or club I've ever been at when I was a freshman, I just moved to New York City. It had only been like 2 weeks. I found myself randomly at a random college in Long Island. I don't even know the name anymore. And it was for some music festival. And we were staying in a house with random seniors. I don't even remember how we knew them. And it was like 3 days of living in and out of this random house with people we didn't know just to see Flo Rida. And I think that was the weirdest experience of my life, especially after moving to New York from the middle of nowhere for like 2 weeks. It was the craziest thing I've ever done.
Like, can you name any friends that were with you at that point?
Friends are with me. It was actually just my first roommate ever, my freshman roommate. Her name was Anna. And I believe she might have known them, but that's who was with me.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, fellow Pace alumni. We love her.
That sounds fun. Then, what's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you? Probably in class or outside Pace.
Probably in class. I definitely have gone through a few breakups in my time at Pace. And I had a very brutal one sophomore year. And I feel like I definitely had moments where I was like in class, just in the back, sobbing. I definitely skipped a few public speaking classes because I knew I wasn't going to make it through. I was just depressed. But I think in class, probably just in the back crying. Like it's the college struggle.
Is it possible for Pace students to survive without Starbucks?
No.
No.
The CAF money, like the money I had in my account, only went to Starbucks. I would go weeks and weeks and weeks. I can't imagine any Pace student, especially now, surviving without it.
Which is your favorite flavor?
Ooh. When I was in college, I've changed since, but I used to drink the mango dragon fruit refresher with lemonade every day, at least once a day. Maybe twice, 3 times, depending on how much work we had to do. Yeah.
Okay, this is an interesting question. Like, are the study groups actually useful?
I'm gonna say no. It's a hot take, and I'm so sorry to the study groups I was in for 4 years. But to me, I feel like it didn't necessarily help because if I wanted to spend the time with people outside of my class and study with them, usually I liked them enough that we would just get distracted and talk about other things. So when it came to really cramming for something, I just needed to be alone. So I'm going to say no, but I know other people that it like really worked for.
I think most of them say no. I think it's just procrastination, I think.
Yeah. Other people said no too?
Yeah.
Good. Makes me feel better
Yeah.
because for me, it did not work.
Okay. So basically, all group projects are like unpaid internships,
Yes. That's so good. A group project is an unpaid internship, truly.
and Starbucks is on a meal plan of every pay student.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be on a meal plan of every college student in America.
Like, this is very new to me because I'm from India.
Okay.
Yeah. So before you come to New York, you have this feeling. You have seen US in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any references that you could give me in, like you thought that your college life would be like that after seeing a movie, but it was very different when you came here.
After seeing a movie. Okay, this is going to age me and also show who I am as a person. But Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, when she's like going around and she's in New York and she's like living the dream and she's famous and she got everything she wanted right away. I really thought that life would happen so much faster than it did. So I came to New York being like, and I'm just all of a sudden going to be this fashionista and I'm going to work in TV right away and I'm going to have this fabulous life and live in this big apartment. And it just didn't happen that way. I'm glad it didn't happen that way, but that's what I kind of experienced. And I thought it was going to be this like big, fabulous thing. But in reality, you're like a struggling college student trying to make it by, especially in entertainment.
And like, were you dorming?
I was dorming, yeah. So I couldn't afford apartment living, at least for a while. And so I did dorm, actually ended up doing it all 4 years and during the summer because I stayed. Yeah.
Okay, let's then talk about your entertainment career. The place where you hustle.
The good stuff.
Yeah. Like, what's your best survival tip for anybody balancing working on campus jobs and studying and trying to network with people?
Yeah, I think just focusing on being passionate about what you're doing. So I feel like it gets really tough, and I still have this issue. I'm still figuring it out, but I feel like if you are genuinely passionate about what you do, and what you want to do and where you're going, I feel like that is probably my best survival tip. Sleep will come and go, networking will come and go, Starbucks at Pace will come and go, but being passionate about what you're doing, I feel like is the only thing that really genuinely keeps me going and hustling. And it's the biggest survival tip and trick I've had since I started my career and since I moved to New York.
As we talk about networking or building your resume or keeping your GPS high, like if you could rate them in their importance, GPA, your resume, and networking.
Networking, resume, GPA.
What was your GPA in the?
I ended up graduating from Pace, I believe, with a 3.9. So I ended up keeping a good GPA. But now, looking back, I work with some of the greatest people in entertainment, and they graduated with a 2.5. They graduated with a 4.0. Like it's all over the spectrum. So I feel like at the end of the day, being able to network and having a good resume and having that work experience definitely tops what you did in school and kind of what that GPA was, because school just isn't always for everyone. So I feel like you can still be brilliant at what you do, but not necessarily fit in the mold of like traditional college. So some people might have like lower GPAs, but still be very successful in their fields.
What are some of the networking strategies you used?
Yeah, I feel like this whole conversation, I'm going to go back to being passionate. But if you can really show your authenticity and that you are genuinely passionate, I feel like the people that you're networking with will see that and will see your authenticity and see that you genuinely want to be there. I feel like sometimes, especially when you're in school, you're hustling and you're trying to just get anything. You're scrambling for any connection to kind of get your foot in the door. But I feel like stopping and making sure that people see that you really do want to be there and you really do want to learn from them and you're passionate about what they are doing and what they have to say to you, I feel like that will get you much farther than just trying to gain as many contacts as possible. I feel like definitely trying to be as authentic as possible with people, whether it's you like what they do, whether it's things that you don't like that they do in their job, or if you are there to just build connections but aren't necessarily interested in that career. I feel like just keeping that authenticity will get you a lot farther than you think.
Like, did you start by doing cold emailing or did you connect on LinkedIn?
I never cold emailed. I never had to do that. I got lucky. But yeah, connecting with people on LinkedIn, even now, if you see something that someone's doing that's great, even social media these days has grown a lot more since I started school. So connecting with people on social media and on LinkedIn, I feel like helped me a little bit more than cold emailing. But it's that same thing, like making sure you're reaching out with something that's genuinely authentic and wanting to learn from people truly. I feel like got me really far, especially even on LinkedIn and social media.
Okay. If there's advice for any incoming students who want to get involved and stand out at pace.
Join everything that interests you, even if it's not necessarily something that you think you want to do in the long run. One thing I did was, with all of my extra credits, I took any minor that was possible, any classes that were possible. That was something that interests me even remotely. If I wanted to do a club that was about philosophy, even though I knew that wasn't something I was going to do in the long run, I still explored it. Because I started school with a minor that I thought I wanted to do, and I am not doing that anymore. And it's because I branched out and took classes and spoke to people and joined clubs that were things that were outside of the general interest that I had when I started school. Because the person I walked into PACE as is definitely not the same person I walked out as.
Do you feel that you have changed completely?
Completely, no. I feel like the foundation is the same of like kind of who I walked in as, but naturally you're just going to grow as you go through 4 years of school and jobs and internships and friendships. So I definitely changed a lot, but I feel like the foundation is still there. Yeah.
I know this is difficult, but if you could just like explain about yourself in a single sentence, like how you were before coming to PACE and how you became after the graduation. I know it's difficult, but take your time.
I was going to say, you're throwing good ones at me. I feel like before PACE, I was definitely a little bit more naive and confused. And walking out, I definitely gained a lot of clarity about myself in a lot of different ways. And I feel like that's the best way to sum it up. Like, I feel like I walked in a young, naive girl, and I left feeling like I really did know who I was. And I didn't think that would happen in college, but it did.
And I feel the same too. Do you find people in New York rude compared to other parts of United States? I don't know, that's why.
No. But I'm from New York, but I'm from upstate. So I feel like the rudeness that people think New Yorkers have is really just tunnel vision. And I feel like it just comes off wrong. Everyone is here. Everyone's hustling. Everyone's bustling. There's so much going on. I feel like you can't become a little harsh after a while. And I feel like people who aren't from here take that as rudeness, but I feel it's more just tunnel vision, and you're just focused on you in a city of millions versus just outright being rude. Yeah.
And nobody cares what you do, what you wear.
Right. Nobody cares.
No judgments.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty. Everybody's so busy in their own work.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the last question of this segment, if you want to make a college survival starter pack for freshmen, what are the things that you could put in?
If I could start college again as a freshman, what would I do? What would I put in? Like implement at PACE, or just
like a starter pack that like for if in a comic sense, if you can take it, like have your Starbucks when you feel low and work hard, something like, or have an email template where that says
like a college starter pack.
Yeah.
Ooh. A resume template. Took far too long for me to figure out how to do a resume. Starbucks every day.
You could also add like start networking at your first year.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, that's really good. So COVID cut off most of my college experience. So if I could start fresh now in 2025, yes, a resume template, because I did not know how to do that for the longest time. Starbucks every day, because you have to, especially here. Networking from the jump. And I feel like more experiences and more places like this. I feel like I wish I had more media space when I started. So I would say like a good studio. That would be my college starter pack for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
or anybody who want to get into entertainment?
Or anybody wanting to get into entertainment. Yeah. A good studio space, Starbucks, a resume template, and networking from the jump.
Then the last segment, dream big.
Okay.
So you have worked on Emmy-nominated productions, managed media at Pace,
Yes.
and now you're a production assistant at Sherry.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
How's that going?
That is going so well. We just got nominated for another NAACP Image Award. We just got nominated for 2. So that has been a blast. We're in our 3rd season of production. And I've been there since the beginning. So this is my 3rd year with them as well. And we're just growing, bringing in new guests, and just trying to make fun TV. I feel like daytime is dying. So it's really beautiful to be a part of an environment that is still earning those nominations and still getting recognized for work in the daytime sphere.
Okay. And as I being want to be in entertainment,
Yeah.
so do you think that the difference between traditional media and the new media is the line between both of them is blurring day by day?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like social media really changed the game, and especially with places like TikTok and people growing with those like vlog style content, I feel like has really blurred the lines between traditional and non-traditional media. Now you can basically create a talk show out of an app, versus before in traditional media, you had to have those specific hosts, those specific setups, the specific equipment, and now it's more accessible to everyone. Even on our production, digital has completely changed the game of how people watch our show, how people, what people want to see on our show, and how we kind of operate with those celebrity guests. It's definitely changed everything. It's blurred a lot.
Who is your favorite YouTubers?
My favorite YouTubers. Oh,
Come on.
Okay, this is really random. I watch a lot of Kevin Lang. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know.
It's this panel of comedians, and they sit down and they do this is embarrassing, but they like sit down and they'll judge people in front of them. So they'll do like guess the real boyfriend, guess the real actor, like, and they'll like ask people a series of questions from the panel, and they'll try and figure out like who's the real actor, who's the real boyfriend. I don't know. It's like an hour long. It's the most entertaining thing. I watch it like every week. So embarrassing. Favorite YouTuber.
Give me 2 more.
2 more.
Yeah.
2 more. I'm not a big YouTube girl. Is that bad? I'm huge on TikTok, but not YouTube like that. YouTubers that I watch. Oh, okay. Bailey Sarian is one of my favorite YouTubers. I've watched her since I was in school, actually. So it's been like 5 years of watching her. She does this segment where she talks about true crime cases while she does her makeup. It's so random. It's called Murder Mystery and Makeup Mondays. So I watch that. I watch her a lot. Kevin Lang, and then a 3rd YouTuber.
Any podcasts you watch?
I can give you podcasts. Okay. My favorite podcast is called Morbid. It's through the Wondery Network, and it is an autopsy technician and a hairstylist, and they sit down and they go through true crime podcasts. And like true crime cases and everything. It's awesome. I love Call Her Daddy is so basic, but it's a classic. So I just really like watching her celebrity interviews, and we actually use them for booking people and kind of doing celebrity research on our show. So I watch her a lot. And then I think my last one would be the Mel Robbins podcast. It's very self-help, how to get ahead, building finances, mental health. So a good balance. Yeah.
You watch a lot of crime-related stuff.
Yeah, I do. Like an alarming amount of crime-related stuff.
Like, do you watch the new age YouTubers like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Nelk Boys or something?
No. I No, I don't. Only because Jake Paul and Logan Paul were big when I was younger. And like Nelk Boys and like those new age YouTubers that are still big now. I never ended up getting into them. I feel like I always went the podcast route. I was never huge on YouTube. And then TikTok came around and I was like, oh, this is the perfect blend of like me listening to too much true crime podcasts and people in media and like new age YouTubers. So I kind of blended that with TikTok, but that's it.
And how do you think entertainment is changing? Like, if you could compare the market share of sports, TV, and linear TV and YouTube, is it more relevant towards digital social media?
I think so. I think it's like something inevitable that we've kind of come to where social media and what's trending really rules what is going on, even in sports. Things that athletes are doing are going viral on TikTok and people are recreating it. They're giving them suggestions. Who is it? I believe it's Minnesota is doing the different touchdown dances and it's going viral on social media. People who are getting those opportunities in media are now coming from social media versus your traditional sphere. Even in sports, anybody can now become a face of media.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's definitely what's changing the most. And social media is running everything we do. And what's trending and paying attention to those digital footprints is now more important than ever.
Did you always know that you wanted to be in TV, media, or entertainment in general?
Yeah, I did. I came from a really, really small town where that wasn't something that was necessarily possible or accessible to me. And so I think that made me want to do it even more because I was in a position of where that would be something that was a pipe dream. I wanted to be Jimmy Fallon for the longest time. I was like, he's my idol. He's everything to me. Was something that stuck with me. I felt like I always gravitated towards TV, music, celebrities, gossip magazines, anything like that. So it was definitely something that I knew I would do in certain aspects. I didn't think I'd end up being a TV producer, but I'm glad that this is kind of where I landed. But yeah, I always knew I wanted to do something in the entertainment industry.
And did you see the promotion the Bad Bunny and Jimmy Fallon did?
Yes, it was so good in the subway, right?
Yeah.
That was so good. We were talking about it in the office for like a week. I love it.
What are your thoughts on about?
I think it's smart, honestly. And you're giving people access to music, live music, that they don't necessarily get always. And how fun is it to be on your commute to work and you just stumble upon people like Bad Bunny with Jimmy Fallon? I think it's so cool. I think it's smart marketing, honestly.
Yeah. And also it creates a lot of UCG.
Yeah.
And that's the best part of marketing. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think honestly, with that and creating something that's trending, creating something that people can recreate and add on to and feel like they're participating in too really helps push marketing these days, especially in the entertainment industry. Like Brat with Charlie XCX, that was iconic. Like people could jump into that and be like, what I'm doing is Brat. This is Brat. And it created this huge marketing campaign that completely changed the way she did that album. Same with like Bad Bunny. Like this album will be huge because he has done marketing like he did with Fallon. And just creating something that people feel like they can connect to and they can add on to, I feel like changes everything with marketing, especially in entertainment.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you wanted to meet Jimmy Fallon.
Oh my gosh, I do. I love him.
Sorry, you wanted to be Jimmy Fallon.
I wanted to be Jimmy Fallon. I don't know what was going through my head, but I was like, one day I'm going to sit in the Tonight Show seat and I'm going to host.
Have you met him?
No. I've been in proximity. I've been to his show, but I have never had the chance to meet him. No.
You should. You should.
I should. I just love Sherry so much. I don't have time to go see Fallon yet.
Yeah, I can imagine. What's been the biggest shift from going college media to real world TV?
The biggest year?
The biggest difference between...
Oh, the difference. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would love to say that the biggest difference between going from, studying media in college and doing Pop TV, which was the media club that I ran here, to real life media, I feel like the grind is so much more than you think it would be. You think, okay, I paid my dues. I made it through college. I'm out. I have my real job. Like I'm a production assistant. I'm on these huge sets. The grind is so much harder once you leave school. And I feel like that was the biggest change for me is the hours, especially in entertainment, and just kind of the hard work that you have to put in. It just doesn't stop. You work for that degree to take it and then work some more. And I feel like that wasn't something that I was necessarily expecting right from the jump. You always think, oh, I've made it. I did it. I graduated. I have a full-time job. I'm going to be successful. I'm just going to keep going up and up and up. But I feel like I've definitely experienced that workload really hits you. And that's where you go back to, are you truly passionate about it? are you okay working those 15 hours a day because you're passionate about it, and just having that genuine authenticity for what you do. And I feel like that was the biggest change for me. I don't think I was expecting that. I have been tested to a point where I'm like, is this something that really, really is important to me? And do I really want to do this? And I feel like that's made me enjoy what I do more, is stepping back and being like, okay, like I'm willing to put in this kind of work.
What does a typical day in your life look like?
It changes every day, but I feel like genuinely, I usually get up around 4:30 in the morning.
No kidding. 4:30?
4:30 in the morning. I get ready. I'm usually at our studio by about 6:30. And then usually we film 2 episodes a day. So I help prep and produce 2 shows. Whenever any celebrity guests come, I kind of help do their research. I pull their photos, things like that. So my day definitely varies, but yeah, usually at the studio about 6:30. We do some prep for whoever's coming. We say hello. We make sure everything's set up, rehearsals, all that jazz. And then we film from 10 to 11. I help Sherry backstage with social media stuff she has to get done, like pictures, talking to audience members, guests, things like that. And then we break. We come back for rehearsals for a few hours, and then we tape another show. Around 4 or 5 o'clock, usually we're done, and then I'm in my office until whenever I feel like I'm at a good stopping point to leave, and I just work on some more celebrity research.
Whoa.
I know.
I thought I
That's
was
Spark
working
Notes.
hard.
No, thank you. It changes every day. It changes every day.
Waking up at 4:30 is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can't do that.
It's Starbucks. It's Starbucks getting me through. This is basically an ad for Starbucks, but that's what's getting me through.
What's one piece of advice you would give to a student who want to break into entertainment industry but has no connections?
I would tell them, try and get yourself involved, connections or not, as close as possible as you can get to what you want to do. So when I was 18 and I moved here for school, I didn't know anybody. COVID hadn't happened yet. I didn't know anybody. I had no connections. I hadn't even started running Pop TV. I was just popping in meetings here and there. And you're a freshman, you're not really taking classes like truly connected to your major quite yet. And what I did is I would get up before class at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would go to Good Morning America tapings. I would go to tapings of The View. I would go to tapings of Drew Barrymore, Tamron Hall. I would find the shows that I liked, and I would go to any taping that would have me, and I would sit there and I would take notes of everything going on around me. I would talk to anybody that would listen in line, whether they were the people that checked you in or the producers that pass you as you're getting loaded into the audience. I didn't have any concrete connections, but I feel like I tried to put myself in proximity to what I wanted to do and kind of observe from there, even though I didn't really have the connections to, kind of create those internships quite yet. So I would just go and observe and take notes and try and talk to anybody that would listen, and ask them questions about what they were doing, because I knew I didn't have the connections quite yet to really gain any internships that really would put me ahead in where I wanted to go.
How did you land your first internship?
I was a server in high school, and I was serving one of the radio DJs in my hometown, at one of the big stations. And so when I was in college during COVID, I had come back home, and I had started serving at that restaurant again, and he had come back in, and he had remembered me being 16 and wanting to move to the city and be a star and break out. And
Jimmy Fallon.
Meet Jimmy Fallon. And he offered me my first internship because he had remembered me from so many years ago, every week, talking his ear off about how I wanted to move to New York. So I ended up getting an internship at a local radio station where I helped them record ads, and I helped co-host a morning show with them, and I did their digital content creation. And that was my first internship, and I believe I was 19 or 20.
What's your ultimate dream job? Where do you look yourself? I know this is a very...
it's loaded.
Interview question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
And I can have anything I want
Yeah, anything other than Jimmy Fallon.
other than Jimmy Fallon. Not yet for the Tonight Show. Maybe in 10. No, I think in 5 years, what I would love to see myself doing, I would love to host my own show. In a dream world, I would love to have a podcast or like a filmed podcast and be able to interview celebrities and human interest stories and kind of create my own show. I love being behind the scenes at Sherry, and I can't say anything bad about working there, but there's something about having your own creative freedom that I feel like I'd love to see myself get into. People like Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy, she had no money, and she would just sit with microphones in her basement with her co-host Sophia, and they would talk about relationships, sex, you name it, and she just all of a sudden picked up, and now she's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And I feel like being able to have an opportunity, a platform like that would definitely be where I see myself. I'd love to be there.
You want to host your own show?
I would love to. Yeah, I like what I do, but that creative freedom is something that I feel like you can't get anywhere.
Have you just gone through the idea of naming your show?
Going through
I
naming
think it's a yes.
naming my show.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to always say it would be like my Live with Liv, like a play on Olivia, or something that was close to the Tonight Show. But now I would love to have a podcast called maybe Let's Do It Over Dinner, or something that's not my name. I feel like everyone has a podcast with their name in it. So I'm going to go with maybe Let's Do This Over Dinner. Let's do this over dinner.
Yeah.
Hosted by Olivia Sturgell.
That's so cool. You should name that.
We're TM. We're naming we're naming it.
And this podcast is called How to Be a College Superstar.
Yeah.
And I got to this name I read a book called How to Be a College Superstar by New Kalport.
Okay.
Yeah, he explains about what are the things you need to do as a student so that you could not just get your GPA.
Right.
Yeah, go where you want to be at the fastest way.
Yeah.
So that inspired me to keep this name.
Yeah, and it's a good name.
Yeah, and you
We're
mentioned
doing it.
your name. So
Yeah.
where was the inspiration coming from?
I feel like
I think there's always some kind of subconscious work that happens when you try to name your show, name your dog or something.
I feel like if we're sticking with Let's Do This Over Dinner, and I'm not ripping off the Tonight Show, I think the best conversation comes from when you are sitting down over dinner with your girlfriends, your friends, your family. So I feel like if I was going to name a show truly based on conversation, it would have to be something that I connect with conversation. I feel like dinner or drinks is something that does that for me. So I think if we're going to Let's Do This Over Dinner, that's where it would come from.
Yeah. I hope your show starts as early as possible.
Thank you. You have to come on.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, for sure.
We're going to do it. You heard it
Yeah.
here. Be my first guest. Promise.
Thank you.
Of course.
And if some student from PACE wants to reach you, where could they?
They can reach me on LinkedIn. And it's just my first and last name, Olivia Sturgell. Or probably the best way besides that is to reach me on Instagram, which is also at Olivia Sturgell. I try to be as responsive as possible.
Yeah. I always want to wrap up my show with 2 questions.
Okay.
Is there anything you regret that you have not done in PACE?
Don't overbook yourself. I really overbooked myself later in my college experience, and I feel like that kind of took away from the creativity that I wanted to kind of tap into while I had the opportunity in school. Because once you get out of school, I feel like you kind of lose that time and a lot of resources that we're lucky to have as college students, especially at PACE in New York City. So I feel like I definitely regret overbooking myself in school. I wish I had kind of left myself a little bit more wiggle room to really have fun creatively.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's meet you in the next one, guys.